So at the time of making this video, Harley Quinn Season 3 is still currently releasing on HBO Max. And from what I've seen on things like Twitter and Reddit or whatever, it has been talked about relatively often, but it's not like it's the most popular thing, mostly because of She-Hulk. She-Hulk kind of took over the discussion about the show after, because She-Hulk releases on Thursdays, the same day as Harley Quinn Season 3. And usually I would have said that this is kind of a shame, but honestly I'm kind of glad now and I think that it's deserved, simply because of one scene in Harley Quinn Season 3, Episode 5, It's a Swamp Thing. There is a scene in this episode that is so awful, so terrible, so unself-aware, which is weird for a show that's self-aware, but it made me want to drop the show altogether. I know that the entire season isn't out yet, but I still can't get over how angry this scene makes me. Now, originally, I was going to wait for the entire season to come out and I'd just make a full review on it, but after episode 5 was so fucking terrible, I just refused to watch the show anymore. And if you haven't seen the episode, then you may wonder, what is so terrible about it? Does the scene have some character assassination or some giant plot hole which ruined the show? No, what happened is far worse simply on what it represents. In this episode, I am not shitting you here, Swamp Thing rapes Mr. Freeze's wife, Nora. I wish I was joking, but for the sake of argument, let's just look at the context and then look at the scene itself. So basically, Ivy is looking for Frank because it turns out he went missing. However, Harley had set up plans with Nora months ago, and this was the night that they were all supposed to go out. I should also say this, but Nora is like kind of a fucking mess and like always getting high and snorting coke up her ass and all that. Yeah, that's gonna be important. Ivy then comes up with the idea to ask Swamp Thing for help because, plants and shit. They then meet Constantine at a bar, who is voiced by Matt Ryan, which admittedly is pretty cool. Constantine challenges them to a drinking competition, and if they win, then he'll give them the map to Swamp Thing. After we see Harley and Ivy wake up at the bar after what supposedly seems like a crazy party. We then find out that Nora went to Swamp Thing's place without Harley and Ivy. They then use the map that they find in Constantine's pocket to go to Swamp Thing and Nora. When they meet up to Nora and Swamp Thing's place, we find out that Nora went to Swamp Thing's place last night shit-faced drunk, like she was so drunk, they even say this. But we find out that Swamp Thing and Nora fucked.
Alec and I connected beyond the physical. But yes, we fucked.
Well, it's not every day that a beautiful and majestic creature stumbles into your home drunk at 4 a.m.
Yeah, Swamp Thing's a rapist. Having sex with someone while they are drunk is a form of rape, since they are not in the right state of mind to properly consent to an act like that. I've seen people say, oh, what if Nora was the one who wanted to have sex with him?
What?
That doesn't fucking matter.
Fuck you.
They are, again, still in no form to properly consent, since they are in the wrong headspace right now, since they are under the influence. And usually when you're drunk, you do shit that you wouldn't normally do. I felt like this was fucking obvious, but clearly not. What's worse is the show didn't even bring it up. That's what really fucking pissed me off. This show kind of pissed me off already with how horribly they treated Kite Man for doing absolutely nothing wrong, but I was able to forgive them for what we found out happened in Season 3 when they got with someone else. But I have a feeling that nothing like that is even gonna happen here, since they don't even bother to fucking mention it. If Swamp Thing gets some really horrible shit to happen to him, then maybe I'll be alright with it. But I don't think that's gonna happen, because what's worse in the show is they treat him as a sympathetic character who was mistreated by Ivy. Like, he says that she was a bad friend and shit, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? You're a fucking rapist. Like, how am I supposed to connect or like this character when he literally raped Nora earlier? Like, what the fuck, man? What's worse is no one is talking about this. Like, seriously, DC needs to stop with the rape shit and all that stuff. First it was Wonder Woman 1984, and now Harley Quinn Season 3. Now, again, I like Harley Quinn Season 1. I even sort of like Season 2, but Season 3, I'm fucking done. You may say it's a minor thing, and it doesn't matter, but it matters to me, and I hate it simply on what it represents. Some people were trying to tell me the show is bad even before this episode, and I didn't listen, but goddamn. Because, yeah, even minus this episode, I'd argue that some of the other episodes haven't been great, and even a couple of them have been pretty bad. But yeah, this was really the nail in the coffin for me, and I'm dropping this goddamn show. I don't think that this episode was void of good moments, though. I mean, again, I thought it was cool that Matt Ryan came back to voice Constantine, and I even kind of like the Bruce and Selena stuff. But I just don't want to support something like this. So, yeah, the show kind of sucks now. Watch She-Hulk instead. Or Andor coming out. Or just anything really like Peacemaker.